Welcome into Jags AM today. I'm Kainani Stevens. Our first Victory Monday of the 2024 NFL season. Brian Sexton and Oehser are with me today. We're going to recap all of the stuff for you from yesterday. It was not perfect, but it is a lot more fun to go over things after a win. So let's start out with big thing number one. That is spark. Brian Thomas Jr. has been amazing for this team so far this season, and he was a huge spark with that 85-yard touchdown catch and run in this game. Brian, we talked about how impressed we've been with the rookie, but he really was the spark to get things going.
Well, listen, Fred Taylor and I were together when he started the route, and Fred said he's going to have a big play here. The most impressive speed I have seen in forever. In fact, Jimmy Smith told Fred afterwards he thought this guy had a chance to be the fastest Jaguar ever, and that's two of the fastest Jaguars ever. He ran so fast down the field that he eliminated the safety's angle by just outrunning him down the Colts sideline. It was as impressive a play as I can remember seeing.
Yeah, he's got a chance to be special, and it's what's interesting to me. I've seen a lot of fast receivers. He does other things well too. He's not just he's capable of doing more than just beating you deep. He looks like a guy. If you get him the ball 2 yards, he can turn that into 9 or 10 yards. He's a football player, and he's about to become a really good one.
He's number one, Kai. He is a legit number one receiver. They haven't had that here since Jimmy.
Absolutely. Let's talk elsewhere on the offense. Fire. We saw a ton of fire out of Tank Bigsby yesterday. He talks after the game a little bit about why he was so motivated to find the end zone and go up against the Colts.
All week this week, I finished and I ran out there so that I said I won't be gassed and I will score. It will help my team win. That was the biggest thing. And another thing was, like, last year, how I started off with the Colts of my career. I didn't like it, and I kind of took this game a little personal. And like I said, I'm very blessed to be here, and I'm blessed for this opportunity.
John, that Colts game early last year was tough for Tank. Some of the ball going off his hands, the return, fumbles, things like that, of that nature that he dealt with all of last season. So he took it personally yesterday, and you could tell. Yeah,
that was a bespectacled Tank Bigsby, right?
Very wise, learned.
I hadn't seen that look. I thought all last year Tank got kind of a tough break or two. Everybody said he was a fumbler and he wasn't doing things well. I thought he had a couple of bad breaks against the Colts. His season started off poorly. The thing he was talking about with the fumble, the weird fumble in Indianapolis. This guy's really good, and again, it goes to show you cannot judge rookies based on just their first year. He's second only to Brian Thomas in terms of a dynamic player for this offense right now. It's an impressive comeback, Brian.
You know, I can't decide whether I like the 19-yard touchdown run, which was all power, or the 65-yarder, which had a little Fred to him because he cut it so hard back and just ran through tackles. It was incredibly impressive. And, he had 14 touches yesterday, and Travis Etienne had 12 touches. What will be interesting to see is how Doug and Press Taylor will deploy these two guys situationally, how many carries, how many touches they will get. When you have a guy like Etienne who's capable of going the distance on any given play, and now a guy who plays with power and can go 65 yards, man, you've got some real weapons and gives the offense a chance, not just to stay on track, but to really push its way and do the things they want to do, to be aggressive and set the tempo of a game instead of just taking what's given to them.
Good options to have, absolutely. Let's do our final big thing this morning, extinguish. We've talked all the first 4 weeks of the season how the Jaguars had opportunities to win these games, but they could not finish these games. Brian, this is the first time we've seen them respond to adversity and get a win.
Well, they made big plays on that final drive. I mean, Dearness Johnson set it up. Dearness Johnson with an 8-yard carry where he just wouldn't go down. That put the Jaguars ahead of the chains and allowed them to take some chances. And then, of course, the throw to Christian Kirk, which made it a sub-50-yard field goal for the rookie. Even though we all know that the rookie, John, has a big leg. He's got a 53-yarder this season. I think getting it inside 50 yards, boosted his confidence. Because I don't know what you were thinking, but I'm thinking, man, if he misses this, now they got a really short road to navigate with timeouts and some clock. This is a huge kick for this kid. So Kirk's catch set them up, and good for them. They lost a game that way last week. They won it that way this week. the word that I've been asking, that I've been talking about, resilience, they were resilient yesterday in a big way.
Yeah, I tell you what I was thinking. I was thinking they were going to lose the game if you missed the field goal, because that's what usually happens when you miss in that situation. Short field, you get it. I thought of all the important things that happened for Trevor Lawrence yesterday, yes, hitting the deep balls. I had faith that he was eventually going to hit those deep balls. Sometimes those come and go, and it's like taking a half-court shot in basketball. Sometimes you make them, sometimes you don't. I thought the last drive was really important. The throw to Kirk, he handled that with poise. It's the kind of drive a big-time quarterback should get a field goal with or a touchdown. He hasn't always done that. I think that may resonate going forward as much as the two long passes.
All right, stay with us here on Jags AM. We have a bunch of highlights to go over with you in the next block. We'll see ya.
We need to define a great deal in today's new home market, because the so-called great deals that you find on every corner just aren't the same as the incredible opportunities you'll find with a new Dreamfinders home. How about 2.99% in year one in one of Dreamfinder's 15 communities across North Florida? Now that's a great deal. 2.99% interest rate in year one and a beautiful new Dreamfinders home. Visit dfhsalesevent.com for our largest savings of the year on move-in ready homes. That's dfhsalesevent.com.
Listen up. Just like football, timing is everything. Only water your lawn when necessary. And always check the weather before turning on those sprinklers.
Save water, save money, and score big. It's a win-win.
Whether you're on the field or at home, we're all on the same team. Florida's water. It's worth saving. This message brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Visit sjrwmd.com for more information.
Chelsea here. Another month and another high utility bill. Those old windows and doors might be the culprit, letting valuable energy escape. At Renewal by Andersen, our energy-efficient windows and doors have the latest advanced technology, keeping your home comfortable all year round. Renewal by Andersen has a limited-time offer. Buy 4 windows and/or patio doors and get the 5th one free. Plus, enjoy 0 money down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 12 months. Some restrictions apply. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com for all the details. License number CGC 1527613.
Are you ready for a taste bud touchdown? Well, Jags fans, if you're at the bank and craving a snack that's shell-shockingly good, look no further than Luray Peanut Company's boiled peanuts. Picture this, you in the stands, cheering on your Jaguars, and in one hand, a bag of piping hot boiled peanuts. With original or Cajun to choose from, they're so delicious, you'll wonder where they've been all your life. So grab them while they're hot and get back to the game. And as always, Duval! Luray boiled peanuts, where every nut is a winner.
The 2024 season is pawsome. Register your pet for the Four-Legged Fan Club, presented by Forever Vets Animal Hospital. Your furry friend can access exclusive merchandise, events, and sweepstakes throughout the season. Fan club members will be automatically entered to win the Pet of the Game sweepstakes, with 2 Jags tickets and sideline passes for pet owners, and the chance for your pet to be featured on the video boards as Pet of the Game. Visit Jaguars.com/promotions/Four-Legged Fan Club to sign up.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium, because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern pit barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbq.com to learn more, or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Register your furry friend for the Jaguars' official Four-Legged Fan Club for Pets, presented by Forever Vets Animal Hospital. Your pet will receive access to exclusive merchandise, events, and sweepstakes throughout the 2024 season. You can visit jaguars.com/promotions/Four-Legged Fan Club to sign up today.
It's kind of been our season so far, that game today, and in moments when we needed it the most, guys stepped up and we were able to fight through that adversity. So it just, builds confidence, that in moments that we need it, we have the guys, we have the people, we have the team that can step up and do it. And so we just got to, keep it rolling, use this momentum to, take it over to London and keep accumulating wins.
Jags got their first win of the season. It wasn't easy. They had to fight for it, and I think that makes it a little more worth it, you guys. We talked a lot about this team, and finally we got some good highlights to go over today.
Let's go.
Let's do this. All right, let's start out early. This is probably not the best highlight so far of the day because it was something that they've had an issue with, that short completion on third down and then the failed fourth down that they went for instead of taking the points. That's something we've become accustomed to because of how Doug Peterson rolls. But Brian, I was a little like, here we go again at this point, or what?
We're talking about the one to Brenton Strange.
Yes.
Yeah, in particular because I think most people saw that Gabe Davis was wide open in the middle.
Sure.
And my are we going this way again is the quarterback going to see the field today? Now, it turned out he saw the field really well, just not on this particular play.
And I think at this point, obviously we know Doug's going to go for it. I understand that if you get it, as it always has been, then it's not an issue. It's because you didn't get it.
Listen, they won the game. But at that moment, going for it on fourth down, it felt desperate. But that's what Doug likes to do, is to take those chances.
Well, and later on in the first half, went for it on 4th and 1 in his own territory. Nobody talks about that because it worked.
Because they got it.
By the way, Trevor on those 2 fourth down, put his nose down. We've been told that's not what he does well. Boy, he really did it well yesterday.
It worked yesterday.
He wasn't going to be denied.
Absolutely. Let's talk about that spark moment, John. We saw that BTJ touchdown. I mean, the second longest touchdown in Jaguars history, I think, is what we heard, and he tracked up to 22 miles an hour on that. He's just so dangerous in the fact of, I think he talked after the game as well. He saw that the defender was doing the wrong thing, and he looked up and thought something else was going on. He said, "Oh, I got this from here."
Well, it was kind of funny, his quote. First of all, he said he wanted to get his Madden rating up, which was funny. And then he didn't expect the ball, and then all of a sudden the play's in the end zone. That's the kind of thing that they haven't had happen to them this year. We've been talking all along. Do they have special playmakers? Are those guys going to show up? Multiple times yesterday it did. It's the difference in winning and losing. When you've got guys who turn that into a touchdown, Brian, rather than into a 55-yard gain, all of a sudden your points go up. Those are the teams that win games. They look like they have a couple of guys in Bigsby and Thomas.
Well, they haven't had that kind of a play since December of 2015 when Allen Robinson had a 90-yard touchdown pass in New Orleans. It's been forever. People forgotten that Allen Robinson was even here. And it looked to me yesterday like he looked like he was the same kid at LSU. Oh, this is easy.
The preparation, good to see from the rookie. Let's go to the second quarter. Gabe Davis, catch and fumble. Another moment of adversity, as we've talked about, could have been a backbreaker in a different game, but there was many in this game that they were able to bounce back from. This one was extra tough because you get the PI on it as well. So there would have been a penalty anyway, but then at this point in the game, with 25 seconds left, you're trying to go and get at least maybe a field goal at this point before the half, and then this happens. It was tough.
Yeah, it feels. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you fumble on a play doesn't count, and so I think they need more out of this spot than what they've gotten in the last couple of weeks with the drop in the end zone 2 weeks ago or against Houston. I don't think it'll happen again. I don't think it's his MO. That has to be better.
After this, though, we did see, again, fighting back from that adversity, Trayvon getting the strip sack, Josh Hines-Allen able to get the ball, and he was mad he didn't get it in the end zone. I was like, he needs to go down because I don't know if he's going to make it with time on the clock at that point. But again, a huge play, and it's these kinds of moments where you can go and then kick a field goal after this and get some points before the half. That's when those things add up.
That's kind of Josh's MO, right? I mean, he makes plays like that, grabbing the ball off the ground. And it was so much fun to watch Trayvon Walker yesterday. He was feeling it, and you could tell.
Well, Mike Tomlin last year called him a wrecking ball. And when he's right, and it's happening more and more and more in his career now, he can wreck games. And he certainly did yesterday for the Colts. Huge day for the Colts offensively. But when you're having a day like that against you defensively, you have to get a couple of, service breaks. And Trayvon Walker got him for the Jags yesterday.
By the way, this field goal at the end of the half was the moment where I really thought they were going to win because it showed a resilience, right? There's that word again, that we hadn't seen from this team in weeks.
And able to go in with a lead to halftime was huge for them. Coming out a little bit not great, trying to force the ball to Brian Thomas Jr. there. Not a great moment for Trevor. He didn't have a ton of bad moments yesterday, but that was not a great one.
Yeah, you would think we've been told you can't overthrow him. Try to overthrow him.
With a great receiver like this, I think there's going to be a few plays where, I don't want to say be willy-nilly with the ball, but when you have a one, which he's going to be, sometimes you throw it up and see if he can make the play. This was a little, I think Trevor would say, yeah, John, that wasn't that. This was a bad throw. But I don't mind giving this kid a chance these days because a lot of times it works. And if you're going to get a pick there, get it on your own too, where you're backed up.
It's like a punt at that point. And then we know what happened right afterwards on the ensuing series, so it turned out to be just fine.
Let's talk about that ensuing series. We saw Devin Duvernay with his first big play, kind of flipping the field for them and then setting up what I thought was going to be Tank's best run of the day, but we'll get to the other one later. But this was huge. I mean, we haven't seen a ton of it with the new kickoff rules. We haven't seen a ton of breakout plays necessarily, but he was able to do it this time and giving them good field position and where they went from there. So it was nice to see. And when I say every part of the team kind of contributed in this one, they really did.
Well, we've been waiting for it. No, just we've been waiting for him.
Yeah, punt returning is one of those things. If you have 3 plays like this in a year, you had a good year because you flip field, you give your team momentum. It is a big play once every few games position. And I thought this was huge in terms of their momentum because it made you feel, Brian, you had the feeling at the end of the first half like they were going to win. Now all of a sudden you felt like, oh, they're making plays. It doesn't matter what's going against them. It's that kind of a game.
They have an answer for everything. Yeah. The only downside with that is Devin Duvernay had a hamstring. We know what those have done to this team.
He did. Soft tissue injury is not good. This play to me was, I mean, when you rewatch it, Ezra Cleveland's literally pushing Tank into the end zone at this point. Even Gabe Davis is in on the blocking. That was I won't be denied here. We are not going to be denied. This is not something where we're going to stall in the red zone. We're getting this touchdown, and you force your way into the end zone. And that's great to see from this team.
Love to see the power. I love to see Ezra Cleveland pushing even more. The offensive line is coming off 2 really good games. The quarterback's been on his feet. They've provided all kinds of room in the ground game. It feels like the offensive line is getting their rhythm. And John, I mean, I guess you expect it now coming into October with the 5 of these guys playing together. Really, the first time they've played this extensively together.
Well, if it's going to happen, this is when you expect it. I think it's fair for fans to be surprised by it because they haven't had this kind of offensive line play in a long time, and it's been a topic. But as Doug Peterson said, with a little bit of, sort of a vintage Doug, I told you so. He's been talking about continuity with this bunch and how it didn't have it at all last year. Now it's got it. Now it's playing well. So far, kudos to Doug on that one.
Let's talk about Christian Kirk. Didn't see a ton of him in the first half, but again, staying prepared, staying ready for when your name is called. That huge catch over the middle. He talked after the game. That was the same play we saw the huge play from Brian on in the other game. And Christian Kirk can do some things too.
Listen, the moment of this was big. We talked about how the Jaguars didn't meet the moment. This is the series that started with the face masking penalty against Dearness Johnson. And on 1st and 25, you throw a little pass that gains 1 yard. So it's 2nd and 24, and you're thinking, all right, there aren't many plays where you go for 24 yards, and yet there they go. And it was a week after missing Christian Kirk, who was wide open. He makes this throw, and there's 2 defenders and 3 somewhere near him. What a great moment.
Yeah, it was a flip the field moment. Picked up 2nd and 24, and it felt in that game, it felt like they weren't going to pick that up, and that the Colts had momentum back. This broke momentum back, and credit to the Jags. They did that multiple times on Sunday for the first time this season.
All right, let's jump ahead a little bit to the fourth quarter. Things got a little wild, so we might as well go over some of that stuff. I told you I thought Tank's 19-yard run was going to be the best run of the day. He proved me very much wrong with that 65-yard run that he had, and Tank was not going to be denied today, and he talked in that soundbite we heard in the A block about, I sprinted after practice, I was not going to get gas, and he didn't.
It's cool, Brian, to see a young player coming into his own. And I guess we're seeing it with Brian Thomas Jr., but Tank now, his runs are looking so much different than they looked even a game or 2 ago. He's doing what he knows how to do. It looks like he's figuring out how to do what his skill set is in the NFL, if you follow me.
Yeah.
And that can be hard. Now he's got confidence. Look, this was a terrific run. And it did, frankly, remind you of Fred.
Oh, it did. And just as he took the pitch, Fred goes, cut it back. And immediately, the kid cut it back. And I went, what?
Yeah.
Right? But that's the vision that Tank showed us. And we've seen him. It's easy when your vision says, hey, I'll get around the corner and I'll use my speed and get to the sideline. Much more difficult to see that cutback lane coming behind you when you're running to your right. But he did, and it was a perfect little jump cut. And then he ran through and over a defender and took off for the end zone. Listen, I don't know how you keep him from carrying the ball 12 to 15 times a game.
Yeah, it's tough. And I thought after week 1 they were going to have a good problem in the sense that you don't want to have Travis Etienne not in the game, because as he showed yesterday, there were moments early on Sunday where you needed, and you also needed him in the passing game. Like, he's got a skill set that helps the quarterback, helps you early get into good down and distance. So you need Travis's presence there, but you also need Tank on the field. So again, way too many good players, which we've always said around here.
That's a problem that we'll take. We haven't had that. Haven't had that much lately.
It'll be good stuff. I do want to say it wasn't a perfect game by any means. The Colts came back into this. You're up by 2 touchdowns. I did the post-game interview on the field. I was like, oh, go outside. It'll be fine. And then 8 other things happened. Yeah. Colts are back in this game, getting 2 touchdowns, and that's where you need to clean things up. You need to close the door earlier. They did do it in the end, so we're going to give them credit for that, but shouldn't have been that close, right?
Well, you got the sense that if Monteric Brown had been able to just knock that ball away on that play where Pierce caught it on the ground. It was an amazing catch, right? And that just lit those guys up. And Monteric who's played really, really well, seemed to just be off at that point. And the other thing is the second touchdown, the safety play has not been very good this year. It's not been consistent. And part of that is Cisco has not played as well, and he's the guy they're counting on, John, and neither has Antonio Johnson. It just seems like on big plays like Tyreek Hill in Miami and right there, they're just off. They've got to get that safety position cleaned up if they're going to shut down the explosive passing.
It seems from our view the safeties have struggled. Look, this is a league of moments, and in fourth quarters, if you learn anything from watching this, if you miss your chance at a closing moment, then the other team's probably going to get back in it. The Flacco scramble early, where Joe Flacco, I think it seemed like he ran for 80 yards.
22.
When you miss those moments, it almost always bites you because offenses are so good. If you've got 3rd and 8 and you don't close it, they're going to pick up 4th and 8 just by percentages. So that seemed to me what happened, and then a little air goes out of your sails. This last play, credit to them for responding to it because it could have taken the air out of the whole team, and it did.
Just a thought on that Joe Flacco run. They had great coverage down the field. He had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And Eric Armstead was thrown into Josh Allen, who was close to a sack, and knocked him off, got him free. It was just one of those freak moments. And then everybody was back in coverage doing their job and couldn't get to him quick enough.
Jags did get the ball back, and something we saw them struggle with earlier in this season, able to get a first down, get themselves in field goal position, and now giving your kicker that opportunity. Doug Peterson talked about they drafted this guy because he wants to take the big kicks. He's ready to do it, and he proved that. And I was very nervous for him. I was getting a little sick to my stomach. I was like, this is pressure right out of the gate for this kid, but he was ready for the moment.
You know, it's funny. I thought the same thing, and before he kicked it, I started writing the score in my story. And I think Doug said it after the game when I asked him about it. It's pressure. But Brian, this kid's wired a little different. I think he's a little wacko. I mean, I think
sometimes you need that from your kicker,
but I don't think he necessarily thinks of it as pressure. I think, like Doug said, he embraces it. So I kind of think he's that guy who's going to hit these.
Yeah. Well, clearly he is.
Yeah.
The real pressure point was, and he had to know this too, was the ball's at the 39-yard line. And if you miss that, then Joe Flacco needs what? About 35 yards? And clearly in the fourth quarter, Joe could find 35 yards. That was win it or lose it on that kick. Not just win it and maybe if you miss it, go tie, right? That was win or lose. And that's even more pressure, and he came through with a big kick.
Yeah, because they were close enough they could have incorporated the run a little, so yeah.
Even bigger. It was a huge
at that
kick.
point, right.
Talk about the slam of the door as well. Trayvon had himself a day. Obviously, sacks come in bunches, but he was all over the place, very dominant right out of the gate, and to get that sack to end the game, that was the day we needed from Trayvon.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 5 sacks this season, 15 over his last, 21 games? Yeah. I said for 3 years. He's a good player, and
he was great yesterday.
That was great yesterday. So credit to him. He's what you need.
Lots of good stuff to go over today. Stay with us here on Jags AM. After the break, we'll give you our hot takes after the Jags' first win of the season.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game. and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way, from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
The kick is up. It's good!
Score winning sub deals this Jaguar season at Firehouse Subs. Receive 50% off on any sub when the Jaguars kick a field goal of 40 yards or more. It's a bold deal for the bold city. Download the Firehouse Subs app for offer details. Redeemable only at participating Jacksonville and Orlando area restaurants. Only available in the Firehouse Subs app.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields, and we have some great news. Fields has the vehicle you want, in stock, priced right, and ready for delivery.
Fields Auto Group is Jacksonville's luxury automotive destination for Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Inventory is back and available for immediate delivery.
And every Fields customer can take advantage of our Fields Amenities program with complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes. You deserve the best.
Stop by today or go to fieldsauto.com.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips, delicious sub platters with ice-cold beverages, and you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Football season finally upon us, and with that comes cooler weather. If you've been wanting to upgrade your outdoor living space, you should call the experts at Lifetime Enclosures now. From glass lanais to screened-in enclosures, Lifetime Enclosures and Flooring is the best in the business, so give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Calling all loyal Jags fans and loyal Gate customers, football is back. And you and 3 friends could win a chance to meet Trevor Lawrence. Entering is easy. Just buy any 5 28-ounce Gatorade or Gatorade Zero products at Gate with your MyGate Rewards app, and you'll be automatically entered. Not a MyGate Rewards member? Download the app and sign up today. See store for details. Alternate entry available at GatoradePromos.com/TLAW.
Well, I think there's a weight off everybody's shoulders.
Fair. Yeah, fair.
Right?
Yeah.
Not just him. There's a weight off of my shoulders, too. Now you guys can get off my tail for at least a week. But, listen, that's what I told the guys. I mean, if they just continue to stick together and work hard and, trust what we're doing, and trust each other and, that's what you're seeing, right? I mean, is it perfect? No, it's never going to be perfect. But the other thing you got to realize too, we've had 5 games. 4 of them have been 1-score games, right? So that's another thing we have to get used to. These games are going to come down to the last drive or 2 of a game, and that's something as a team we've got to embrace, and we got to learn to do that. And today was a good step.
Doug Peterson talking about the weight being lifted off Trevor Lawrence's shoulders, weight lifted off everybody's shoulders. Victory Monday is a lot more fun for everybody, I think.
Did you notice when he was answering Mike DiRocco from ESPN, you normally get that sort of relieved smile, and Doug's got that jovial personality. No, he had that serious coaching tone and look on his face all the way through that answer.
Yeah, look, they were 0-4.
Yeah.
They needed to win. I don't want to say this saves the season because they have to do more to save the season, right? But it sure
gives him a chance to save it.
It sure prevents it from being unsavable.
Gives you a chance to catch your breath.
Yeah.
I think it's a little more serious with that old school logo on the visor and the shirt too.
First, don't even get me started.
It looks so good.
The throwbacks were, and I wasn't crazy, like a lot of people were to see them, but man, when I saw them, I was. I mean,
I will give my unbiased 2 cents because I was not around for the originals. The color just looks better. Yeah. All of it is better, and I'm with everybody. I've been converted full time. Let's switch it over.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Let's get to some hot takes. We have a win to talk about. We have stuff to talk about. Brian, what is your hot take for us today? Sponsored by Firehouse Subs.
Well, listen, watching those guys yesterday, Anton Harrison, Brenton Strange, Tank Bigsby, Ventrell Miller, the 2023 draft looks like it could be one of the best, maybe the best in Jaguars history. When I think about the best, John, I think about 96, which gave you Kevin Hardy, Tony Brackens, and Aaron Beasley, all starters. And I can jump forward to 2006 where you got Mercedes Lewis and Maurice Jones-Drew, who's your all-time touchdown leader. And 2016 was Jalen Ramsey, Miles Jack, and Yannick Ngakoue. That's really good. I mean, those guys made lots of plays for this team. But when you look, and not just at those guys that I mentioned, right? But we expect Cooper Hodges will be a starter. That's 5 starters from the draft. Yasir Abdullah is a key contributor. So is Tyler Lacey on the defensive side. I mean, this is a draft that is as deep as any draft the Jaguars had. Can say that clearly. 2023 is as deep a draft as the Jaguars have ever had. It's early, it's only the second season, but it's early in the second season, and we're looking at all these guys who are making plays, and all I can think is that 2023 draft, which got a lot of criticism, unfairly, it was too big, the players didn't all contribute as rookies. Hold tight, folks. That draft could turn out to be a gem, the gem of all Jaguars drafts. By the time it's
and Brenton Strange is turning into a very interesting player because for the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, he was the best blocker on the offense.
Yeah.
And the catch the other day, I don't know that he's ever going to be, Evan Ingram 90 catch guy, but he's making plays that they need, which is pretty important right now.
He could be a starter. You can see it in him right now. I mean, you have Evan Ingram, who's hopefully coming back this week, but the drop-off has not been in overall play. He hasn't been that big play kind of guy, but man, he made a huge catch yesterday. That was a high, hard pass coming in from Trevor, and he pulled it down.
Yeah, I went with the offensive line. I said, look, credit the offensive line. It's due. I don't have that much to say. I just felt like we needed to say it because this
True.
group,
we talk when they're bad. We should give them some credit when they play well.
For a year and a half and, up until 3 weeks ago, I told you the offensive line, So, look, protected Trevor. They barely breathed on him yesterday. I still don't necessarily get the idea, Brian, that this is going to be a Hogs type running team where you just
not
grind
the Ravens or the Lions.
But that's sort of a function of the offense. Doug doesn't really run that way. But they need to be effective when they do run, and boy have they been the last couple of weeks. And really the whole season. This team has had some breakout runs. They run effectively enough in every game.
I feel like you're talking directly to me because I was the guy who was banging the drum saying, hey, you got 2 guys you can replace. And at times, neither Cam nor Brandon Sheriff were playing at their highest level. However, the last 2 weeks, the offensive line, for continuity's sake,
and I think that's why they didn't make the move.
It's exactly right.
Because they had to see at some point, hey, we've been talking about continuity. Right. Let's see if it works, and so far.
Yeah, they've shut me up because that group right now is playing well, and you get the sense that there's another level in it, that they can be even better.
For me, it was about the mental game on Sunday. I think that was the biggest play that they made for me, was because a lot of what we saw from this team this year was them not responding, them being hit in the mouth and not knowing what to do. They were able to have the mental toughness that you need to have in the National Football League. We talk every week. Every team is good. They're all professional football players. It's a couple plays, and it's being mentally sound and mentally tough and saying, I'm going to win this game when we get the ball back. We're going to get a first down. We're going to put them in field goal territory. They have the football back. We're going to not let them get a chance to score. Trayvon's going to get a sack. Whatever it might be, you have to know going in that you have a chance. And I think at points they defeated themselves, whether it was Travis Etienne's fumble in the first game or, when they get down in a different game, it's like, oh, we're out. We're taking ourselves out of it. And being able to mentally be in that space of, we're going to win it. I'm going to get the ball back and we're going to find a way. They found a way.
They did, and they were mentally tough yesterday. John, I think I'm going to look at them the next time they're in that situation. Can they carry it through, right? I don't want to discredit it all. You were home in the throwbacks. There's a lot of emotion, right? What happens when you're on the road at some point and you face it again? Can you dial that back in? That's what Doug is going to be working now, right? The head coach is also the head psychologist. He's going to be working to make sure that this team can dial it in and be able to call on it when they need it next in a not so friendly environment.
Yeah, I said earlier in the show, I thought the biggest moment for Trevor was the last series because, as you said, Kai, you felt all game, or really for like, the last 30 minutes, 3 or 4 times you felt like they had earned it. Okay, they did it. All right, they got and all of a sudden they hadn't. So you have to pick yourself back up and then have a calm drive with a couple of big passes. I thought it was a big moment for him, and we will see how it carries forward.
Understanding the job in front of you and executing, and they did that on Sunday. Stay with us here. We got a lot going on this week before the team heads to London.
We need to define a great deal in today's new home market because the so-called great deals that you find on every corner just aren't the same as the incredible opportunities you'll find with a new Dreamfinders home. How about 2.99% in year one in one of Dreamfinder's 15 communities across North Florida? Now that's a great deal. 2.99% interest rate in year one and a beautiful new Dreamfinders home. Visit dfhsalesevent.com for our largest savings of the year on move-in ready homes. That's dfhsalesevent.com.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips, delicious sub-platters with ice-cold beverages, and you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Listen up. Just like football, timing is everything. Only water your lawn when necessary. And always check the weather before turning on those sprinklers.
Save water, save money, and score big. It's a win-win.
Whether you're on the field or at home, we're all on the same team. Florida's water. It's worth saving. This message brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Visit sjrwmd.com for more information. At Publix, you can tackle everything from pregame prep to postgame cleanup with prices that are never out of bounds. This week at Publix, save $10 with a digital coupon when you spend $40 on select P&G products. Tackle everything from pregame prep with brands like Crest, Head & Shoulders, and Old Spice to postgame cleanup with brands like Bounty, Dawn, Tide, and Febreze. Clip your digital coupon now. Available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Are you ready for a taste bud touchdown? Well, Jags fans, if you're at the bank and craving a snack that's shell-shockingly good, look no further than Luray Peanut Company's boiled peanuts. Picture this, you in the stands, cheering on your Jaguars, and in one hand, a bag of piping hot boiled peanuts. With original or Cajun to choose from, they're so delicious, you'll wonder where they've been all your life. So grab them while they're hot and get back to the game. And as always, Duval! Luray boiled peanuts, where every nut is a winner.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Jags fans, if you want customized Jaguars furniture for your home, check out zipchair.com to browse all the customizable options. Zipchair is furniture for fans. Move the freight, move the freight. Magellan Transport voted the coolest office space in Jacksonville. You can apply online at magellanlogistics.com.
Anything, honestly, and I'm going to continue to do that even when you have a good game. I mean, that stuff doesn't matter. You know, you can't listen to the good or the bad. So I do think stuff that does get through, and I'm sure there's a lot of questions like what's going on with the Jags, what's this, what's that after 4 weeks, and good, you know, we'll use that as a chip on our shoulder and have that us against the world mentality and bring us closer together, and I think that's what good teams do. So, but I also think you don't want to let that stuff creep in because it's really about the guys in that building and the work we put in, and you know, I'm just proud of the group. It was a great day.
Quarterback Trevor Lawrence tuning out the noise and got their first win of the season this week, and I think that's probably wise advice for the whole team.
Listen, he can turn it down a little bit with his play, But you can't eliminate the noise. The league is what it is today, the lucrative business opportunity, because of the interest level, and the interest level creates noise when you're 0-4. But good for him, he shouldn't be listening to this kind of stuff.
It's all noise.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, at least he's not tuning in Jags AM, but we are praising him today, Trevor. So we'll tell you about it later.
Earned it.
What are you guys looking forward to this week? Who are you talking to? What's the focus before we head out to London?
Sort of wait and see. We'll see what the week brings in terms of the storm, right?
I was just about to say.
So basically getting a feel for how they're going to respond to going, and then getting a feel for how they respond to this victory, getting the steps toward the right direction.
I'm not a weatherman. It appears, though, to be worsening, right, if you follow the stories. And that affects families, right? These players leave their families behind. So the organization will do the best they can to make sure that everyone is covered, right, that everyone has a solution so that they're not over there worrying, because you can only imagine what that would be like. And not just for them, but for all of us who are supposed to be in London for the next 10 days.
Yes, weather permitting, everyone stay safe. We'll keep an eye on things. Weather permitting, we will have our 100th episode of Jags AM on Wednesday. You'll want to tune in for that. We're going to be giving away some prizes, including those new throwback jerseys. So tune in for that. Stay safe. We'll keep you posted as this week goes along, and enjoy the win.